$20,000. That's how much some of these 2026 SUVs have already dropped in price, and we're not even halfway through the year. So why is nobody talking about this? Right now, sitting on dealership lots across the United States, there are over 3.5 million unsold SUVs, not used cars, brand new, 2026 models with 0 miles that manufacturers built, and nobody bought. Look at this. The Volkswagen Atlas, a family SUV that was selling at $8,000 over MSRP just 2 years ago, is now sitting at $4,000 to $6,000 under sticker. The Jeep Grand Cherokee? Same story. The Chevy Tahoe? Dealers are throwing in free packages just to move them off the lot. This isn't a sale, this is a signal. And if you're thinking about buying a new SUV in 2026, you need to watch this entire video before you spend a single dollar. The why, the 3 forces killing the SUV market. Force number 1, the overproduction trap. Here's what happened. During COVID, car manufacturers couldn't build enough SUVs. Chips were scarce, inventory was low, and dealers were charging whatever they wanted. So what did manufacturers do? They went absolutely all in. Ford, GM, Stellantis, they all ramped up production lines betting that the demand would never stop. They built factories, they hired workers, they ordered parts, and then the music stopped. Interest rates went from near 0 to over 7%. A $60,000 SUV that cost you $650 a month in 2021 now costs you over $1,100 a month. Same truck, same features, completely different financial reality. Buyers didn't disappear, they just got priced out. And the manufacturers, they kept building anyway, because stopping a production line costs millions, so the lots filled up, and they're still filling up right now. Force number 2, the EV whiplash nobody expected. Now layer on top of that the EV disaster. And I don't mean EVs are bad, I mean the strategy collapsed. 2 years ago, every automaker was screaming that gas SUVs were dead. Ford bet everything on the electric F-150. GM announced they were going all electric by 2035. Manufacturers started killing their most profitable gas SUV lines to pivot to electric. Then reality hit. EV adoption stalled. Consumers said, "I'm not ready." Charging infrastructure wasn't there. Range anxiety was real. And those customers who were going to buy a gas SUV, they were stuck in limbo, not ready to go electric but nervous about buying gas vehicles the manufacturers themselves said were being discontinued. So you had a market frozen in confusion, and a lot full of cars nobody was committing to. Force number 3, feature fatigue and the subscription trap. But here's the one that really gets me. And this is the angle almost nobody is covering. The 2026 SUV is not just a vehicle, it is a subscription service on wheels. BMW charges you $18 a month to use heated seats that are already physically installed in your car. GM's Super Cruise hands-free driving, $25 a month. Toyota's remote start on newer models, monthly fee. Ford's Blue Cruise, annual subscription. You're buying a $70,000 SUV and then being rented back the features you already paid for. And buyers are waking up to this. Consumer confidence surveys show that feature subscription resentment is now one of the top 5 reasons people are delaying new car purchases. People aren't just price sensitive, they're philosophically done with this model. The 2026 SUV bubble isn't just about money, it's about trust, and manufacturers have burned it. The reliability pivot, the disposable car problem. Now, let's talk about what you're actually getting for that $65,000 to $85,000 asking price. Because this is where it gets really uncomfortable for the manufacturers. I've talked on this channel before about the million-mile engines, the Toyota 1UZ, the Mercedes OM 617 diesel, the old Land Cruiser 80 series. Engines that mechanics beg to work on because they're simple, rebuildable, and virtually indestructible. Now compare that to a 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L. You're looking at a massive touchscreen that controls everything, including your HVAC, no physical knobs, no backup manual controls, touch-based gear selectors, integrated over-the-air software systems managing your transmission, your suspension, your throttle response. This is not criticism of technology. This is a question of repairability. When that screen fails at 90,000 miles, and it will, you're not replacing a $40 switch. You're replacing a $3,000 integrated unit that requires a dealer diagnostic tool just to access. The old 4Runner from 2005 is still on the road in 2026 because a good mechanic can fix anything on it with basic tools. The 2026 equivalent? It has a 5-year software support window, after which certain features may simply stop working. You don't own that car. You're licensed to drive it, and buyers are starting to do the math. A well-maintained 2015 Land Cruiser versus a brand new 2026 Grand Wagoneer L. Which one will be running in 2040? The internet has already made up its mind, and it's not the new one. So here's the part you actually came for. Should you buy a new 2026 SUV right now, or wait? Because I know that's the question sitting in the back of your mind the entire time you've been watching this video, and I'm going to give you a straight answer. No dealership nonsense, no manufacturer spin, just the honest breakdown based on everything we've just covered. If you need a vehicle today, and your current car is costing you more in repairs than it's worth, this is actually one of the best buyer's markets we've seen since 2019. I want you to understand what that means. Dealers are not in a comfortable position right now. They have cars sitting on their lots collecting dust, accumulating interest on their floor plan loans, and taking up space that costs them money every single day. That pressure is your leverage. Walk in with competing quotes from at least 3 dealerships. Print them out, show them. Let dealers compete for your business because right now, they need you far more than you need them. You can realistically get $5,000 to $10,000 off MSRP on slow-moving models like the Atlas, Grand Cherokee, or Blazer EV right now without even trying that hard. And don't just negotiate the price. Negotiate everything. The trade-in value, the financing rate, the add-ons, and whatever you do, do not pay for subscription features you don't want. Tell the dealer up front. Either those features get negotiated out of the deal entirely or they get prepaid for the lifetime of your ownership. Do not walk out of that dealership locked into monthly fees on top of your car payment. That is how manufacturers are making their real money right now, and you don't have to play that game. If you can wait 12 to 18 months, then wait. And here's exactly why that matters. The manufacturers who paused or cut production in late 2025 are going to create a second inventory tightening in late 2026 going into 2027. We have seen this exact cycle play out before. It happened after the 2008 financial crisis, and it happened again coming out of COVID. What goes into oversupply eventually corrects. Factories slow down, fewer units ship, inventory drops, and when inventory drops, dealers stop negotiating as hard because they don't have to. Prices stabilize. They may even slightly rebound. But here's the key. Right after that stabilization, when manufacturers start ramping back up again and the next wave of inventory hits, you get another dip. If you time that window correctly, somewhere in the back half of 2027, you'll be buying in a market where manufacturers are still desperate to move volume. Dealers have learned a hard lesson about arrogance in pricing, and interest rates may have come down enough to make monthly payments actually manageable again. Patience right now is worth thousands of dollars, literally thousands. And if you're open to buying used, honestly, this might be the smartest move of all 3 options. The sweet spot right now is a 2019 to 2022 certified pre-owned SUV from a Japanese or German brand. Here's why that window specifically. Those vehicles hit the market before the subscription feature explosion really took hold. They're modern enough to have good infotainment and safety technology, but old enough that they still have physical buttons, physical knobs, and controls that don't require a software update to function. The depreciation on these vehicles has already happened. Someone else absorbed that massive first-owner loss. And right now, with new car prices finally starting to fall, used car prices in that segment are softening too. The 2026 SUV bubble is real. This is not speculation. This is not pessimism. The data is sitting right there on the dealership lots for anyone willing to look at it. Millions of unsold vehicles. Price drops happening in real time. Production pauses that the manufacturers are quietly announcing without making headlines. And underneath all of it, a growing wave of consumer frustration with subscription models, rising costs, and vehicles that feel more like a tech product on a lease than a machine you actually own. The manufacturers built this bubble themselves. Through overproduction, through greed, through a fundamental misreading of what their customers actually want. And now they're sitting in it, hoping that buyers don't connect the dots. You noticed. If this video gave you something valuable, hit subscribe right now. Because next week, we are going inside the actual cost breakdown of a brand new 2026 Escalade versus a 10-year-old equivalent, and when you see what the numbers look like side by side, the purchase price, the depreciation curve, the repair costs, the subscription fees, the insurance difference, it is going to genuinely bother you in the best possible way. I'll see you there.